In this video, I'm going to share with you the trick to instant and lasting motivation. Welcome to another episode of #winning, your real team, your CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals and coaches build transformational coaching businesses without the grind. Now, if you're an entrepreneur watching this, if you're a coach, if you're a health professional, you have obviously dealt with the ebbs and flows of running a business, right? Some days feel great, other days don't feel so good. And I want to share with you the biggest challenge that I see amongst entrepreneurs, and the reason why 95% of all small businesses fail in the first 5 years is they simply run out of steam. So why does this happen and how can you prevent it? Because you have magic that can help a lot of people. And if you don't help them, you're playing small, you're being selfish, and it's not serving anyone. So the trick to instant and lasting motivation comes from this elastic band right here. If you think about this band, it's pretty much useless as it is right now. And very much like this elastic band, us humans, are useless as well when we are not stretched. So this elastic band becomes more useful as it's stretched. As I stretch it, there's more tension. The more tension there is, the more energy there is to want to relieve that tension. So here's the thing, is if you're not motivated, you simply don't have a big enough intention. Your goals, your dreams are too small, and therefore you get stopped too easily. So the trick to instant and lasting motivation is to increase the tension in your life. Set a bigger intention. The word intention, think about it, intention. Small intention is flaccid. There's no energy. There's no juice behind that. Obstacles come up, challenges arise, whatever, no big deal. I'll just, do something else. But when you have a very big vision, a very big intention, right? Elon Musk, we're going to go to Mars. That's a pretty big intention. Do you think anything is going to get in his way? Obviously, he has public accountability. He has a company built around it, and everyone knows that this is his mission to propel the human race or the species onto a different planet just in case this one falls apart. That's a big intention. I'm not saying you have to set an intention for us to go to Jupiter, but you have to set an intention that moves you, that jolts you out of bed in the morning so you don't even need an alarm clock. And if you don't know what that is, then I want to give you some soul-searching questions in this video to help you uncover that and move through this, because we don't need more small-thinking entrepreneurs. We don't need more people taking up space doing tiny little things in this world. And I'm not here to say that it's a worthless endeavor if you don't have a big business, that how you decide to run your business is up to you. But if you're in the game of impacting lives, of helping more people, of transferring your expertise into the lives of other people, you just got to think a little bit bigger. Okay. So the biggest reason that most people don't have motivation is because they just don't have a big enough reason why they're doing what they're doing. Right? So set a bigger goal. Now, if you think about the word motivation, the word motivation actually comes from the Latin word, which is movere, which means to move. So if you don't have any motivation, you do nothing. That's why when I look at kids, like my kids included, this summer, they have done nothing, right? No camps, nothing. That's obviously on us as parents. But I'm like, you know what? Let's not force things on them. Let's let them do what they want to do this summer. So they've had soccer every night. And outside of that, they've done nothing. They've stayed at home. They've played with Lego. They've watched television. And I remember being a kid and doing that for a moment as well. But there are a lot of people that live their entire lives like that. So think about this. If I have no compelling reason to get off the couch, then why would I get off the couch? Because it's so much easier to just tune out and watch some retards on YouTube. So many people today are living that life, kids or adults, is they're just tuned out. They have nothing that juices them, that drives them to move them forward, and therefore they don't move. They don't do anything. When it comes to exercise, I don't want to move my body because it's uncomfortable. Cool. Well, maybe being 100 pounds overweight is not uncomfortable enough yet. So we can break this down into all different facets of life, whether it's business or health and fitness, but motivation is a very big issue for humans. And we talk, there's obviously a whole amount of psychology behind this. You want to reinforce good behaviors, all that kind of stuff. But beyond that, it starts with really thinking to yourself, what is something I really want to make happen? What is something I want to bring to life? And maybe also ask yourself, why am I dreaming small? And I want to give you 3 things to consider here. So here's a quick exercise I want to have you do. I want you to take a little notepad or a piece of paper and grab a pen. And I want you to write down how much money in your business you want to be making in exactly 1 year from today, okay? So take a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write down the number. It could be $100,000, $1 million. I don't care what it is. Just write the number down. Okay, got that? Now, what I want you to do now is I want you to add a 0 behind whatever you wrote. So if you wrote down $1 million, it's now 10 million. If you wrote down 100,000, it's now $1 million. Got that? So you got the 0? Okay, cool. Now, next, what I want you to do is I want you to tap into how you felt as soon as you saw that bigger number. How did you feel as soon as you saw that bigger number? Maybe you felt excited. Maybe you felt scared out of your pants. Maybe overwhelmed. Maybe anxious. Maybe, how am I ever going to make this happen? This is impossible. Whatever it is, here are the 3 reasons why that came up. Number 1 is past conditioning. You set a goal that you believe is able to be achieved by you in the next year. So remember this, in life, you get exactly what you believe you are worth and what you believe is possible for you. Period, end of story. Because if you had written down the second number, then that simply means that you would feel worthy, more possibility around that second bigger number for you based on where you currently are in life. And that's okay, right? So we get what we believe is possible for us, and what we feel we are worth, self-worth. Am I good enough, etc. All this stuff comes into play. So where does that come from? Number 1, it comes from past conditioning. You have been programmed with other people's bullshit. Your parents, friends, family, high school friends, all these fucking idiots who don't do anything with their lives. Now, I'm not saying like your parents haven't done anything with their lives. I'm just saying people that are playing small, for the most part, have indoctrinated you from a young age with belief systems that you simply adopted as your own. Now, as kids, we're amazing modelers, but we're terrible at giving meaning. So we might model certain behavior or certain thought patterns, but we're not good at giving meaning to those. And in life, it's not the circumstance, but it's the perception or the meaning we give to the circumstance, which really creates our reality. So the number you wrote down is a direct reflection of the conditioning that has been implanted into you. And as a result, you now have these subconscious or very conscious beliefs about what you believe is possible. Okay. Second reason is past experiences. You have probably, if you're like, what's the difference between a 2-year-old and a 50-year-old? Other than obviously the obvious, physical differences. One of the biggest differences is that a 2-year-old hasn't had as many failures or disappointments as a 50-year-old. So by the time you're 50, a lot of people are referencing all these previous experiences that didn't work out, failures, disappointments. And so we start to mitigate our goals. We start to dream smaller because we don't want to disappoint ourselves, or we start to think, again, subconsciously, well, what's the point? This other thing didn't work out. Why is this going to be any different? I haven't achieved this in the past. What makes me think I can do it now? Well, I want to be conservative. I want to be realistic. I don't want to dream too big, because why? Why the fuck not? Why, is there someone going to come and imprison you if you think big and don't achieve it? No. I see this all the time, guys. I speak with health professionals and coaches all the time. And I'm like, where do you want your revenue to be in your business in a year from now? And they're like, I would love to be at 10K. I'm like, that's it? They're like, yeah, I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm like, the very fact that you're saying you're trying to be realistic is a fucking direct reflection of the fact you're playing so small and the level of belief you have in yourself. Now, if someone is like, I'm going to make $1 million tomorrow, I'm like, okay, cool. I love that. What in the past gives you confidence that that is possible for you in a day? Now, again, I'm not here to break someone's belief, but there's also a level of reality. Like, some people just don't have a track record to even achieve anything in a day. So like, okay, let's talk about what this could look like over a little bit of a longer time frame. But nonetheless, I'd rather you think big and dream big and not achieve it, as opposed to think small and play safe. I don't know if it was Michelangelo or someone, a Renaissance painter, who said something along the lines of like, the biggest, I'm totally butchering this, is like, the biggest failure in life is not setting a big goal and not achieving it, but setting a small goal and achieving it. Something like that, right? We all know there's different ways of goal setting, smart goals, set things that are achievable, etc. I get that, right? You hit these little milestones, you can celebrate your successes. I'm on board with that. But you can still do that with a very big dream, a very big goal. You need something that's going to like pluck you out of the couch, pluck you out of the bed first thing in the morning and get you so inspired that nothing can stop you. And that's not going to happen right away. Like you have to do some soul searching around this. So the third reason that you aren't dreaming as big as you might consider otherwise is that you lack proper information. So here's an example of this. Well, why do you only want to make 10K a month? Well, because if I don't want to make more money because then I have to pay more in taxes. I'm going to have more headaches. I'm not going to be able to give the quality of service to my clients. It's like, hold on. Is it possible that there are people who do what you do, who make way more money than you, and who have also figured out the tax thing, who've also figured out how to handle those problems, who've also figured out how to serve clients at a very high level, even without spending 24 hours a day with them? Is it like, do you think it might be possible? Yeah, it is possible. And it's happening on a daily basis. And that means that you are lacking information, which is essentially meaning you are looking at the world through a very small lens and you're completely ignoring everything that could be outside of here. And I get that because that was where I started my business in 2006, was I wanted to stay small because I was getting inputs from people around me, like a accountant who was a very small-minded individual who said, hey, you don't need to incorporate. Just keep it under this level so you don't have to pay taxes. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Anyways, I got to get back to the gym and work 20 hours so I can actually make some money. That was the level of thinking I had because of these types of inputs. And I was lacking information because I thought if I made more money, I'd have to pay more tax. It's like, well, yeah, now it's like I'd rather make way more money and pay more in tax than make no money and pay no tax. So lacking proper information means you make decisions based on a limited amount of information. And this is also the problem that we saw during COVID, right? The biggest problem for me during COVID was the censorship of information. So people were making decisions about getting vaccinated or not, or all the other stupid decisions that were happening based on very censored one-sided information. So they were not even exposed to this whole other reality of like, oh, here's some other things to consider. And because of that, they make very myopic decisions. And it's the same thing here. It's that if you don't have all the information, you make a very myopic decision around how you live your life and how you run your business. So, but here's the thing I want you to recognize is the number you wrote down, right? That is a byproduct of building a beautiful life, of building a business that's helping a lot of people, not just by taking advantage of people. Like, I can't tell you how many people have a problem with, like, I'm sure you understand this. Like, there are so many people that have a problem with people making money. That's not your problem. If they have a problem with that, that's them. That's not you. And if it's something you have to work through, you have to work through it. Because you cannot create the future you want by trying to live or by trying to fix a future you don't want. You can't create the future you want by living in a past that isn't serving you. If you're trying to grow into a bigger future and setting these big dreams, and you have people in your life that are holding you back, that are talking shit about you, that are criticizing you, that are making fun of you, you have to dissociate and distance yourself from those individuals. They are no longer part of your life. They're no longer part of your journey. And no one ahead of you is going to push you down. They will only pull you up. It's the people beneath you and behind you that are going to pull you back like buckets or like crabs in a bucket. So I have 3 questions that I'd like you to write down and answer that I think will help you think through this a little bit. So how would the perception of your life shift in the areas that matter to you most, right? It can be finances, health, relationships, whatever it is, if you let your imagination run wild with zero inhibition? So again, how would the perception of your life shift in the areas that matter to you most if you let your imagination run wild with zero inhibition? You can pause the video and you can think and reflect, or even, write down the answer to this question if you want. Okay, the second question is, what does the life of your dreams look like? I've mentioned this before. One of the biggest warning flags for me is someone who's like, I never thought about that. Really? Well, ciao. I have no time to waste with people who are not clear about where they want to go. If you are not clear about where you want to go, don't be upset when you get there. If you don't know what your dream life looks like, you will never make it happen. So what does your life, the dream life, look like? What are you doing on a daily basis from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed? And again, I want you to pause this video and write this down with zero inhibition. I don't care if you have kids. I don't care if you work in a clinic. I don't care if you're enslaved in a prison. I don't care what your situation is right now. I don't. All I'm getting you to do here is think about what you want. And do not write this out as like you're editing your thoughts as you go. Like, I really want to do this, but I can't because I've got kids and they wake up early. Like, fuck it, who cares? What does your dream life look like? Okay? Don't, like, nothing else in your life, like kids, obligations, nothing else matters here. What do you want in a perfect world, your dream life, your dream day to look like? And then number 3 is, what are some small actions you can take every single day, starting today, to move you closer to realizing those dreams? Because here's the thing is, like, you don't set this dream life and then you do nothing and then one day, boom, it's there. No, you do very small, consistent actions day after day after day, and eventually you get there. So one of my goals is, like, by the time I'm 70, I'm able to run a 5K under 30 minutes. I'm able to do, 50 push-ups in a row, 30 pull-ups, stuff like that. I'm not delusional in thinking that I'm not going to do anything to progress along those different areas and think that, well, all of that's going to happen at 70 years minus 1 day. Like, if I don't ever go for a run, and then when I'm 69 years old in 364 days and I go for a 5K run, there's no way in hell that's going to be under 30 minutes. So what are the small daily actions I'm going to commit to consistently for the rest of my life so that that dream becomes a reality? And for you, like, again, like, you might be busy in a clinic working 29 hours a day and you're like, I don't see a way out of this. I get it. Like, I was there, but you have to see a way out of it. Because if you don't even see the way out of it, you're not going to take the actions to move in that direction. So when I was working with clients, like, I was 12, 14, 16 hours a day for 7 years. I'm like, I'm not going to keep doing this. But I also spent time getting very clear about what it is that I wanted instead. And that vision became so compelling that I started carving out time every single day to start building the dream. And that's what it takes. Like, you have to make time. You have to sacrifice something you're doing now for the bigger future. Like, you can't steal second with your foot still on first. That's why I said you can't create the life of your dreams while trying to fix the life you don't want. You have to think from your bigger self. You have to think from your future self. And that future self, ideally, is much more compelling and a bigger vision than what you have right now. You have to stretch the elastic band, because if there's no tension in your life, you are not going to do what's needed to change your current situation. Like, I was talking to someone in the DMs, busy practitioner, 3 kids, whatever. I'm like, cool, I've got 4. I know what it's like. Like, yeah, they're super busy. Life is super crazy. I'm like, cool, how many hours a week are you spending in the clinic? She's like, 25. I'm like, that's it? We have clients that enroll in our coaching program who are working 60 to 80 hours a week. So they're working 3 to 4 times as many hours as this individual. And for them, they could have all the excuses in the world to say, I'm too busy. And this person down here at 25 hours a week is like, oh, there's no way I could fit anything in. You don't have enough tension in your fucking life. Maybe you need to be working 75 hours a week. Maybe it's not bad enough. Maybe you're too comfortable, right? Maybe you don't have a big enough dream and you think that what you're doing is okay. I spoke to somebody else who's making $150,000 a year and she wants to make $200,000. Small vision, no tension. No tension, no action. No motivation, right? Why would I change if I just want to go from this to this? No, I want to hear someone say, I'm making $150,000 and it is absolutely unacceptable. I want to be making $150,000 a month and I'm going to run through a brick wall to make that happen. Okay, and I'm just using money as an example here, but it can be whatever you want. It can be your fitness, it can be relationships, it can be whatever. You have to build a big vision for you, not for anyone else, not for your parents, not for anyone else, for you. What do you want? What do you selfishly want? What do you want to give to this world? How do you want to contribute? How do you want to feel on a daily basis? How do you want to feel when you look in the mirror at the end of every day? And you can say to yourself, yes, another day I'm moving closer to the dream I want, as opposed to, fuck, I got to do this shit again tomorrow. Don't live that life. And if you're in that right now, I encourage you to do these exercises. The 3 questions I just gave you. Think with zero inhibition about the dream life you want. What does the perfect day look like? And what are the small things you can do on a daily basis to help you move there? Set a bigger vision, that number you wrote down earlier on where I had you at a 0, I want you to really work through that. If you feel fear and resistance around it, good. If it triggers you, that's a beautiful opportunity for you to learn and grow from that. Lean into that, because if you don't, you're going to continue hitting these resistance points forever and stay small. And that's not what I want for you. Whether you want it for yourself or not is a different story, but I'm here to help health professionals and coaches do big things in this world because a lot of people need your help, they need our help, and it's my goal to raise your vision, to raise your standards, so collectively we can make a big difference on this planet. What if things were meant to be challenging for you? I want to unpack this because right now, if you're dealing with some challenges in your life and your business, I want to give you some perspective on this that hopefully will help you out.